Welcome to the Pre-Service Teacher Portfolio, a formative approach. This is a presentation by Andrea, adjunct professor at Luther College and school psychologist for the Rosemount, Apple Valley, Eagan District of Minnesota, and by Odette Bruneau, professor at Luther College. Why does the Luther College of Education use portfolios? In 2004, we wanted to move to a more meaningful replacement for the senior paper as our capstone product, and felt that the portfolio could meet our needs. We were aware that many colleges of education had gone to a portfolio method to better meet the requirements of accreditation. The portfolio seeks to demonstrate student growth over time, a strong emphasis by accrediting agencies such as NCATE. And with the electronic portfolio method, data can be aggregated. This is also something sought by accrediting agencies. Beginning teachers in Iowa must submit portfolios as a part of their continuing licensure process. And when we were beginning this process, the state of Iowa offered grants to teacher education programs who are improving their assessment. The new state core curriculum values the use of formative assessment, and the Luther model is a formative approach. Many administrators expect portfolio exhibition as a part of the interview and selection process. What does the research say? Over the past 20 years, the portfolio has established itself as an alternative method of assessment. Since the mid-1990s, there has been a movement from the paper portfolio to the electronic portfolio method. According to research by Fiedler, Mullen, and Finnegan, some studies indicate that portfolios are useful in promoting reflective practice and useful in developing teaching skills. But they also provide these cautions. Portfolios may be unconnected to broader theoretical frameworks. There is difficulty in meeting the multiple, often conflicting purposes of portfolio assessment in the ever-changing institutional settings. And there continue to be difficulties establishing inter-rater reliability. The portfolio at Luther College is a phased developmental approach that begins in the first year. Over the course of their 4 years, the students will present 3 levels of portfolio: introductory, developing, and advanced. What is the timeline for this process? The students are first introduced to the portfolio process in their first year January term practicum. During seminar, time will be devoted to identifying competencies, preliminary training in our commercial vendor, and students will have the opportunity to produce their first artifact from an oral presentation. Then, in the 200-level education courses, there is further training provided in competencies, rationale writing, use of our commercial vendor, and there will be identified some common core artifacts for the introductory portfolio. In the 300-level course, primarily junior level, the students will complete a January term practicum, and they will complete a teacher work sample. Common artifacts from the teacher work sample are evaluated and placed in the portfolio. The portfolio advisor will grade the teacher work sample and the developing level, or what we call working level portfolio. This same portfolio advisor will meet with the students to provide ideas for artifacts that may meet the competencies which will come out of the student teaching experience to come in the fall. At each level, the artifacts are replaced with higher level artifacts. Artifacts from the student teaching experience constitute the advanced level or professional portfolio. Students will present their professional portfolio to the advisor 2 weeks before the individual meeting. At the individual meeting, the student and advisor will discuss competencies, artifacts, and their reflections on the entire process. Our new model requires that students in a common advisor group meet, share, ask questions, and provide feedback about their portfolios. The advisor will simply serve as a moderator. How might artifact selection look? An example artifact could be an interview with a practicing teacher about his or her reactions and experiences with the inclusion of students who have disabilities. What competency would that fit? Probably the best would be diverse learners. What level? This would come from the diverse and exceptional learner and is a 200-level course. Therefore, it would be an introductory level artifact. The rationale statement is an explanation of how and why the artifact demonstrates the student's knowledge of the selected competency. The most effective rationale will also link the artifact to an identified teaching disposition. Our proposed changes include how the artifact connects with the Iowa core curriculum and 21st century skills. How are artifacts entered? Students log into their account and attach the desired artifact to a rationale statement. The student will indicate the instructor who's to be notified of something to evaluate, and then the student will submit the artifact. The named instructor will be notified by email that there is something to grade. What happens when instructors have work to grade? The instructor will log into his or her account, and the dashboard will offer My Assessments. The student's name is selected, and then Assess. The rationale statement and the link to the artifact will be presented with scoring options on the left. The instructor will simply score and push Submit. The student will be notified by email that scoring has been completed. We recently replaced our older 3-point scale with a 5-point scale because we wanted more meaningful student growth comparisons. With our new rating scale, there is consideration of the artifact, the rationale statement, and the context in which the artifact was used. When and why are documents replaced? Students will submit new artifacts and rationale statements at each level: introductory, developing, and advanced. The 3 levels of portfolio allow for examination and documentation of student growth over time. How are artifacts selected? At the introductory level, there are artifacts identified from the introductory education core courses, such as educational psychology, the diverse and exceptional learner, and the J-term introductory practicum. These include artifacts like article analyses, a parent conversation write-up, a teacher interview, an oral presentation, and a differentiated learning project. At the developing level, artifacts are selected from the teacher work sample. These are 300-level artifacts that were obtained in the junior level practicum experience and include such things as lesson plans, assessment plans, and learning goals. All of the artifacts from the advanced level will come out of the professional experience or the student teaching experience. At this level, there is much more room for student choice. What is the professional portfolio meeting? The focus of this meeting is for the student to highlight his or her best work. It's important that the student reflect on experiences and reflect on their own development throughout the process. In the new model, students will be meeting in cohort groups of 5 to 6 to share their work with one another, and the advisor will be the moderator or guide of this process. So what do our students say? One said, "It helped me so much to reflect on what I've learned these past 4 years." Another said, "Did I really think that was a lesson plan?" A third said, "It was great in an interview. I could refer the principal to the example of my skills in planning." But we can't lie. Some have said, "Do people really look at this?" Or, "My dad's a principal and he says they don't have time to look at portfolios." And, "The senior paper was much easier." What are our faculty saying? Our faculty agree that student portfolios continue to get stronger over the years. Students seem better able to identify how artifacts and rationale statements go together, and their reflections are more meaningful. The students seem more confident in making student choice submissions and even in thinking about the type of artifact that would indicate a specific competency. What are our concerns, criticisms, and where do we go from here? The developmental portfolio is a time-intensive process both for faculty and students. We worry about our use of a Likert-style scale to measure artifacts that are performance-based. We wonder if our customized system is any more efficient than a web-based system that would be cost-free for the students. And finally, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. When and where do we put on the brakes? Andrea and I would like to thank you for watching our virtual presentation on the portfolio process at Luther College. If you have questions or comments, please contact Odette Bruneau. And we hope that you will enjoy Hong Kong and enjoy the conference.